Hello, everyone. We are in the U.S. of A.
Sadness.
And we're still getting a lot of questions, and we appreciate the questions. So I told hubby that as we gain questions, I'm going to do some smaller videos in burst, if I can speak.
Burst.
Yes, in burst. So this one is about, we're going to start at the top. Number one, which visa are we acquiring for Panama City, Panama?
I know.
So, which one are we acquiring, baby?
The Pensionado.
The Pensionado. So, I am truly reading from the good world of Google. So, logically, always listen to your attorney as to any latest information. As of today, which is the 17th, 18th of March, 2025.
I'm tired.
Google states there are 4 visas or statuses that you can acquire to have a visa in Panama City, Panama. Now, number 1, which is nothing to do with a visa, we have mentioned this before, Panama allows you to visit under your passport,
U.S. passport,
and stay for 180 days.
6 months.
You do not have to have a visa. There are perks to a visa. There are benefits for a visa. And for those of you that used to try to leave for a day, go to another country and come back, whether that is for Panama or any other country, and it has a name for that. Border dashing. A lot of countries are stopping that. It's not allowed. You might be allowed 1 or 2 times, but eventually when you try to come back,
they can say no.
They're going to stop you because you're truly beating the immigration or residency status law. You need to acquire residency if you're going to want to continue coming back and forth to a country. So you might even watch some people on YouTube who are not acquiring residency. They are visiting Panama under their passport. So you might want to just be cautious of that and listening to what information they give you. So we are under the Pensionado Visa. We will go into that. There are 4. There's a Friendly Nations Visa, which basically allows, such as demonstrating financial solvency, such as having a fixed term deposit in a Panamanian bank or owning real estate. It's an either or, putting money in a bank or buying property in Panama.
At a certain dollar amount.
At a certain dollar amount. And then there's a self-economic solvency visa, which states that you will put a minimum of $300,000 in a Panamanian bank account or owning real estate in Panama valued at no less than $300,000. So the magical number is 300,000. Either you're bringing 300,000 and placing it in a bank account, or owning property valued at $300,000. Hubby will piggyback on the property deal because he knows a little bit more of this. For those of you that happen to be that middle or upper echelon of age, Panama has a law that all property must be paid off.
She's talking about financing of property.
Yes.
You can't get a mortgage after 70 years old. So you go, if let's say you're 50 years old and you think you're going to get a 30-year mortgage, you will not. You get a 20-year mortgage.
Yes.
But it's got to be paid off by 70. If you're 70 or 70 plus, you got to go all in cash because you can't get it financed.
So again, seek attorney information or a real estate broker, because I'm not sure when they say you need to place $300,000 in a Panamanian bank, does that mean it needs to stay at $300,000? I don't know, because that wasn't the one that we were doing.
Yeah, I think there's a minimum time frame and whatnot. But which brings up another thing. In order for you to put money in a Panamanian bank, you got to have a Panamanian bank account.
Right. So you're going to have to be there. Then there's the retirement visa, the Pensionado Visa. It goes interchangeable. You need to be able to show that you receive a pension by either private or government of at least $1,000 or 750 USD with property ownership worth $100,000. So if you bring in 750, but you also own property of $100,000, you can then do the Pensionado Visa, or you can just not own property and show that you can bring in $1,000
or more. Yeah.
or more. And then there's the investor's visa, and it is that you will invest $40,000, and it doesn't say what into what. It just says that you will invest. So I guess again, seek an attorney. They will tell you what you're investing in.
The key is getting an attorney.
I don't know. So long story short, we did Pensionado Visa.
Immigration.
Hubby was blessed enough. He is you've heard in our other videos, he is a retired government employee. In the field that he happened to have retired from, he also receives his Social Security check, although he is not of Social Security age.
Correct.
He is a early retiree at the age of 50. When he retired,
years ago.
And he gets a lifetime pension from that field, which is air traffic control. And he also, because of the age requirement of retiring, they also are allowed to seek their Social Security because it's not by choice that they're retiring. They age out by 56. You have to retire.
That's correct.
So, and he is lucky enough, I guess you can also say, that I don't look at it as lucky, also bad enough, that he is also able to bring in VA disability benefits. But that recently just started. It had nothing to do with our Pensionado Visa.
No.
You only need to show that you can bring in $1,000.
But
go ahead.
My VA people out there, veterans, your disability, as long as it's over $1,000, can get you a residency in Panama.
Yes, as long as it's over $1,000. So again, one of those three, if you happen to be a veteran, then you have many options, especially if you worked in the private sector or anything else and you have a pension. It's up to you to choose which one. It's not accumulative. They're not going to sit there and go, oh, you bring in $50,000 a month. They don't care. They're looking for that you bring in 1,000. So you can just show
forever.
Whichever one you choose to show that you bring in $1,000. For those that are retired, Social Security, I believe also if you're married, if one person, obviously I'm not of Social Security age, I'm a little young thing.
Anywho,
because we're married, I get to piggyback on his pension.
But that amount went up though. So instead of 1,000, it's $1,250. So $250 for your spouse, and I think it's $250 for each dependent. But again, consult your attorney.
Consult your attorney. We're speaking of what the Google states today and what we just went through with our attorney a few weeks ago. So that was our process. Our attorney, once we located our attorney, and there are many groups out there, I would suggest, number one, in locating an attorney, first off, do not do this on your own. You are welcome to. You're going to hear people that they did try to seek immigration status on their own. In our personal opinion, it's not worth the headache. Almost every single person we've ever spoke to that sought immigration on their own, they're still waiting. Now, you also find some that have an attorney that are still waiting. And then just like anybody else out there, it's called fire that person and hire you someone else.
That's correct. And even if you spent money on that first attorney, if they're not giving you results in a timely manner, fire them.
Now, on that, I'm going to piggyback on that. My husband happened to be, while we were in Panama, he happened to have some documents that he had to have notarized. Get as much stuff in your home country notarized and then apostilled, and I'm going to tell you what that is, as possible. It's going to save you astronomically. He happened to have been in the utility office. Every single legal sheet that needed to get notarized was $40 each.
Well, that's a legal page.
Illegal, but you're going to have to have legal.
But that wasn't what we were doing.
No.
But bringing up that whole thing, when you're trying to get your electricity, that's a good one. Electricity. You have to get that notarized. There's a form you got to fill out. It's got to be you on the form. It's got to be the owner if you're renting a condo or whatnot, or you're taking possession of electricity from somebody else's name. That stuff's got to be notarized before you make it to the electric office. Mm-hmm. And guess what? I bet you don't know that. So get you a real estate professional, right, which Omar Ramsey is our guy, and very good, very good.
Yes, get that. But for this particular one, again on the immigration, we are going to get on utilities and the documents one on another video. But for this particular one, those are the four. We did the Pensionado. Go ahead.
I hate interrupting. Pensionado. I'm only speaking this because we're living it. This is our one. You can't get a job.
Yes.
You cannot get a job. You can't go out there and work on the side and whatnot. There
have been some people that have gotten
you're there
flagged.
to be retired.
Flagged.
So be retired. Do not be trying to be out there making money.
If you want to work, those are called work visas. We all are familiar, just like in the U.S. If you want to work in a country, you have to go through the process of doing a work visa.
That's correct.
And you can do that. No one's stopping you from doing that.
But the pensionado is the wrong one.
The pensionado is not a work visa. Hence, pensionado. You're saying I am financially self-sufficient, that I don't need to work in Panama. I have my own means of income that I can take care of myself. So then when you get to Panama and you then want to make and sell candles or do braids on the side, I'm making all this up because I don't really care what you do. That's work. And that it's illegal, you guys. That's illegal. You can't hide under one disguise and say you're going to come down there and be self-sufficient, but now you realize I want to make more money. You can't do that. So seek an attorney. There are many groups out there. In talking to people, make sure they went under the visa they're telling you about. Don't seek an attorney. There's nothing wrong with copying what someone else did if that's what they did. If they're there under a passport 6 months and you're asking them about an attorney, you go, well, I'm going to use your attorney. But they didn't even do the immigration process. Ask questions. If you know that that's the type of visa status that you're wanting, ask someone else who's already done that visa status, and then ask them how they felt about their attorney. If they don't have any good results about their attorney, why in the heck would you ever hire their attorney? Don't hire their attorney.
Yeah, don't do that.
We personally don't mind telling you our attorney. Our attorney is CLP Associates.
Good.
Our personal attorney is Marco Jimenez. And we loved every single thing. He had us do 99% of our actions in the United States. And you might be asking, what were those actions then, Cass?
Yes,
One was
question, Cass.
we had to show the actual statement that shows Cedric does get a pension. They're not going to take your word on that.
No.
So
documented evidence.
Documented evidence. There are two ways it's documented. One is we all are familiar with the term notarized. Those items had to be not only notarized, but apostilled. What is apostilled? Look it up. Layman's terms, it's a higher level notary. A notary is basically saying that the signature or that you're admitting that this document is true to your being. That's it. They don't verify the information. An apostille is verifying the information. There are two different things.
Okay, and the it that she's talking about is, for instance, if you're a Social Security, you got to get your Social Security letter that the government sent you that states what you're getting paid. If you're like myself and you're using a pension, you have to do the government. Well, in my turn, I get a government pension. So you have to have the pension letter that they gave you when you retired. And in my case, I gave that and they're like, hey, this is too old. So I had to get an updated one. Same information,
Yes.
but the date had to be.
They
more
want
current.
a date that is as current as you can have it. By that, I mean, we were married in 2005. We have not, the stamp on our 2005 marriage license is from 2005. Although we had a certifiable embossed copy of our marriage license, they needed a most recent embossed copy. This might be information that some of you who are married need to know. Cedric and I happen to have been married in Texas. Everybody doesn't get married in Texas. We also happen to have been married in a local county close to us. Some of you might be married in Texas, but you might have been married in the Panhandle, or you might have got married in Hawaii. If you have to now get a recent embossed copy of your marriage license, and you don't know this until you are in Panama, could be an issue. You want an attorney. These are things, and you might not, when you're just looking at the information online, you're going, oh, an embossed copy of my marriage license. I got that.
It's on the wall.
I got that. And then you
That
get
ain't.
there in the immigration office and they go, we need it to be within the last 30 days. And you're like, well, y'all should have told me that. No, you should have had you an attorney. Your attorney would have told you that. And if you have an attorney and he hasn't or she hasn't told you that, question them after this video. Why haven't you told me we need a most recent date of our marriage license? Because you do need it before you set foot in Panama. That also is your passport must be apostilled. They know you can't get a recent date on that. That is what it is. If you plan on having a driver's license when you get there, your driver's license have to be apostilled.
You got the most important one, the one you need to start with immediately, at least for us under the Pensionado. You got to get the FBI fingerprint done.
You do have to get that.
And it's got to go to Washington, and they got to apostle it and bring it back. So it took us 6 weeks.
And that was under another president administration with people working. You will hear people in videos saying, I'm going to do that when I get to Panama. Can you physically go into the U.S. Embassy and I guess get your documents? Yes, you physically can do that. But where do you think they're sending them?
To D.C.
They're sending them to D.C. You were already in the United States. You could have had that. You want to get as much. By the time under the Pensionado Visa for a married couple, when you are physically in Panama, there should be only 3 things that you are needing to do before you walk into the immigration office. One is show a lease or
you need an address
home mortgage
Panama
statement. That information must have the landlord's personal identification attached to it. It will also need to be notarized. So where you're living with verifiable proof. That's the best way I can put that. You must have a Panamanian phone number under the person that is actually being the lead on the immigration. I can't have the phone number, but we're using Cedric as the Pensionado person.
So we got to go get
phones. So a Panamanian phone. The last thing is you must show a deposit in a bank account of a minimum of $5,000. Minimum. You are probably going to need some assistance on the bank account because not many people in the banking industry speak English, and they might not also know what the form is. There's a form. It's not just you just walking in there putting $5,000 in and getting a deposit slip and walking out. No, there's a legal form, and even with our attorney, we went in on a Friday. He couldn't pick that letter up until Monday. And that was it with the attorney. You're not going to get this letter right away. So you want to have these things done. Now, those 3 things had to be done boots on the ground. He had everything he needed on that Monday, and you have seen our previous video. He contacted us on a Wednesday and said, get the immigration by 10:30, and we walked out with our temporary visa. That's with an attorney. So physically with an attorney, we had 2 days of documents to do in Panama City, and by the 3rd day, we had our temporary. If it's taking you longer than that, you might want to communicate with your attorney as to what is the issue or the concern. If you did not do the things that you needed to do in country, that could be the problem. Yeah, if you're waiting to do all of that while you're in Panama, I can tell you what the delay is right there. You have anything else to add about immigration? That is what this video was about. We'll do other stuff another time.
Attorney. Get you an attorney. You need an attorney. You shouldn't do this without an attorney. What should you have? An attorney.
Get you an attorney.
Yeah, get you an attorney.
Don't listen to anybody's video on YouTube,
including us,
who are not doing the process of what you are doing, or you're just different in your attorney. Your attorney is going to have the best knowledge, period.
For your situation, and everybody's situation is
different. Don't listen to us about buying property when we did the Pensionado. We did the Pensionado. Don't listen to another person about the Pensionado Visa when they're there under the 6 months of their passport.
Yeah.
They're going to sit there and tell you, no, I didn't have to have a bank account, but they never told you that they're there under their passport. You see what I'm saying? And they're tourists.
And you're trying to be a resident.
And you're going, oh, okay, so then I don't need to get a bank account. Yes, you do need to get a bank account. They didn't tell you all their information, you guys. And, I guess they don't have to, but this to me is about transparency. We're here to help someone. How can you help someone if you don't want to be transparent? Then don't be on YouTube or don't be on social media. I guess that's my overall thing. No one's making us do this.
No.
Not at all. So if we're going to give you information, we need to at least be truthful about the information that you're providing.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing I can say. Anything else?
No, that's it. Oh, get an attorney.
He's so silly. Get an attorney. Cedric keeps saying, get an attorney, get an attorney, get an attorney. They're worth it. Again, yes, they're an investment. We had a hour-long walk when we walked the park. You should be looking at probably a minimum of anywhere between $2,500 to $3,000 to get started with an attorney. You guys, if there's anything less than that, question that. And the reason I say question that is because they could be trying to gain your business. Nothing wrong with that, but they haven't given you every dollar. They haven't told you that, and you're going to have to get your FBI background check, $400 a person.
That's a fee.
And you're going to have to get your documents apostilled, however much that is. And you're going to, per sheet. And you're going to have, so to hear a astronomically less number, under $2,500, you should be asking what all does that include. Get an itemized
if
quote.
It's over $2,500, you should be asking what does that include.
Yeah.
So get. You know what? You don't know what you don't know. So,
but we're giving you an average price because then if you hear it's going to be $180,000, you're like, whoa, wait a minute now.
But I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to cut through all this and say this. Find somebody who's done the process that you're trying to do successfully, and then do the exact same thing they did. So if they had a great lawyer, use their lawyer.
Basically,
that's all you gotta do. This it.
There's plenty of attorneys out there. We will be talking about the other aspects of other people that are out there, but today was about visas, immigration status, and who we use. We use COP Associates, in particular, Marcos Jimenez. We had our temporaries within 3 days. We did we started the majority of our paperwork around October, of last year. We had to wait the longest on the FBI background check to come back, which did not come back until about that first week of February, somewhere around there. It was real close to that time frame. Not the first week of February.
6 weeks.
But we didn't do the FBI background check in October. We started the other paperwork.
That's right.
So anyway, we got everything. We had the last thing to come back was the FBI background check, and that came back about the first week of February. No, it was a little earlier than that. No, it was because we were booking our airline tickets, trying to find out when we were going to go. When we did it, so it was about the first week of February. That was our last thing to come back, and we booked our airline and went straight to Panama City. We had been showing and sending our documents to our attorney as we had other items.
And that back and forth communication should be happening with you and your attorney.
Yes.
We PDF everything and send it to our attorney.
And that helped because, hence, we had the apostle of our marriage license, and he looked at it and said, this is from 2005. I need one within the last 30 days. Us being here locally and getting married locally, we just drove to go get that. I'm telling you this because everybody might not have gotten married in the state that they live in. And now you have another